The PlayStation Portal was a basic remote play handheld when it launched way back in 2023, but it has been constantly updated ever since. Today is no different. Version 7.0.0 of the PlayStation Portal system software update is available right now to download, and Sony is finally adding a feature we have been asking for all along, a high bitrate option for even sharper visuals. We will be putting that to the test today in a real world stress test where we check out 8 games across local remote play, PlayStation Plus cloud streaming, and owned game cloud streaming to see if it is finally a picture perfect PlayStation streaming device. But before we get into the games, let's quickly chat about some of the really nice quality of life updates in this patch. First off, setting up the portal is way faster now. If you're a new user who doesn't have a PlayStation and needs to create a PSN ID, you don't have to jump through hoops anymore. You can now just scan a QR code with your mobile phone to get signed up, which makes the whole onboarding process so much smoother for gamers new to PlayStation who have just picked up a portal. They also made a tiny tweak to the search bar. Before you had to physically hit X to bring up the keyboard, now it just pops up right away. Small change, but it makes sense as it helps you find your games just a little bit quicker as you need the keyboard to search, so it makes sense, I guess. Next up is game bundles. It was supposedly super annoying when a game tile, you know, the wee picture you click on to select your game, had multiple games inside it. Well, now you actually have the option to dive into a bundle and select the specific game you want to stream. You can see here it's asking me what version of the game I want to play, the PS5 or PS4 version, because there's 2 versions of the game sitting behind that tile. But this also got me wondering, could this be Sony gearing up to bring PS4 game streaming to the portal also? Let me know in the comments if you would like to see that happen, and what game would you play first? I think I would play maybe Killzone or something. Yeah, something like that. Okay, this next one is long overdue. Trophies just got a nice upgrade. When you're streaming, the notifications now look exactly the same as they do on the PlayStation 5 console. It clearly displays the full trophy name, the official trophy image, and if you bag a platinum, you get that signature special animation. I actually got my first updated trophy notification on the portal when I accidentally ploughed straight into a wall in Pursuit Force. So the game obviously felt sorry for me and threw a bronze trophy my way just to cheer me up. Game invites got a similar upgrade. If the game supports it, you'll actually see your invites pop up right on screen while you're playing, which is fantastic. Unfortunately, it's a Wednesday afternoon when I'm recording this, so all my friends are either still at work or actively appearing offline just to avoid me. So just picture a beautiful little notification popping up right about here and you'll be good. Alright, before we dive into the 8 game test, let's talk about my setup for a second. This is not a scientific lab test. I am not the experts at Digital Foundry. This is showing exactly what my real world experience is looking like after this update. When testing these games, I had my TV streaming music from YouTube in the background, my PC was running, and my phones were connected to the Wi-Fi streaming stuff. Running a quick speed test on my iPhone 16 right where I'm sitting playing the Portal, I'm getting 855 megs download speed and 101 upload. Remember, your mileage is absolutely going to vary depending on your network congestion, you know, how many people are using your Wi-Fi, how good your router is, and just your overall Wi-Fi setup. Now you're going to see a bunch of performance data on my screen during these gameplay clips. If you want to know how to see your stream's performance data on your own portal, it's super easy. Just swipe to get the side menu out, scroll down to troubleshoot, click on it and then hit show network status. This toggles an overlay that shows you your latency, downstream and upstream speeds while you play. You'll also notice that right next to that toggle in the update, they've added a brand new tips section. It's got some really solid basic good practice advice for your Wi-Fi, things like keeping your portal close to your router, trying different wireless bands to reduce interference, or just turning off some of your other connected devices if your stream is struggling. It's all basic stuff, but it's nice to see that Sony's adding that in to help people who may have no idea and really wonder why their Portal isn't just working out of the box, which you'd hope it would, but relying on streaming is one of these weird situations where everyone's situation is very different. It's not like, when it's running on the PlayStation 5, a game, everyone's hardware is the exact same. Everyone's hardware for their Wi-Fi setup is very different. So let's talk about the main event, the 1080p high quality mode. You'll find this new toggle right in the quick menu. Go to max resolution and select 1080p high quality. This new upgraded high quality mode is available for remote play and cloud gaming, which is awesome, as I saw a lot of people saying it was only for PlayStation Plus premium subscribers playing via cloud gaming. That's not true. This is for everyone, which is the way it should be. A quick heads up, you will have to restart your gaming session each time you change this, which is a little bit annoying. For remote play, it's no big deal because your console stays on in the background and you reconnect right away pretty much to it and pick up where you left off in the game. But for PS Plus streaming from the cloud, it will actually drop your cloud streaming session and relaunch the game, which can take a little bit longer. It's also nice that the Portal remembers your settings for streaming from the cloud and remote play separately. So make sure you put both of them to the new 1080p high quality setting. As for example, setting remote play to 1080p high quality won't automatically switch your cloud gaming sessions to the same mode. You need to switch the cloud gaming session to 1080p high quality also, or if you want to keep one on a lower quality mode, it will remember that whenever you log into play, which is cool. Like, you might always play via remote play when you're at home, but use cloud gaming when you're traveling and want different settings for each. Now that happens because the Portal remembers them both, which I like. So what actually does this new mode do? Well, it ups the bitrate cap where the standard 1080p version, which we've had for a while, on the Portal had a max bitrate of 15 megabits per second, and the new mode makes that limit a bit higher at 25 megabits per second. It would be cool to have seen this even higher, as you know, there's apps for third-party devices like PS Play, which I spoke about on the podcast the other day, which allow you to go even higher. But this is a nice update from Sony, and hopefully they'll update this even more in the future. With a top tier internet setup, you could easily crank up the bitrate for an even sharper image. Let's kick off the testing with local remote play on the PlayStation Portal first of all. First up, Signe All Guns Blazing. So many of you have been asking about this game and I love it, so why not use it for this video? This is a super fast-paced, frantic shoot 'em up, tons of enemies, massive explosions. Usually if your bitrate is struggling, a game like this shows it instantly and gets super grainy and blurry. But in the new 1080p high quality mode, it looked fantastic. It definitely looked sharper, and honestly, it felt even more responsive. And that all comes down to latency, which we'll talk about in the next games because they've definitely improved that for remote play. Next, I jumped into one of my favourite racing games ever, Wipeout. This was super interesting. My signal strength actually dropped down to medium. It was previously at strong, even though we were still in that new high quality mode. But looking at the latency on the data overlay, it was absolutely rock solid at 2 milliseconds and did not budge. It is a noticeable difference and feels incredibly snappy. That is some low latency for the streaming here via remote play. It never used to be that good in my opinion, or what I remember. Maybe I'm wrong, but I don't ever remember it being that low. For the final remote play test, I wanted just a massive open world game, so it's a bit different, you know. So I booted up Death Stranding. I know it's a bit slow paced, but the visuals are ridiculous in the game. The signal strength went back up to strong, and the latency again was pretty much solid at 2 milliseconds, sometimes even dropping down to 1 millisecond, which is absolutely wild. It just looks super crisp on the Portal's 8-inch screen. Massive win for remote play here with this update. Honestly, if you have a PS5 Pro, good internet and remote play to a portal, you are eating good today with these updates dropping like PSSR 2 and the Portal software update. Good times, people. Now let's jump over to cloud game streaming on the PlayStation Portal. For that, obviously, you need a PlayStation Plus premium subscription, and we'll test some games via PlayStation Plus game catalog and streaming of my owned games from the cloud. First off, I picked from the premium catalog Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart. It looked great and really sharp on the new max resolution setting. However, the latency hovered pretty consistently around 25 milliseconds. For a game like this, it's no biggie, but for a really high-paced first-person shooter game, you'd probably notice it. Honestly, I'd say bang the disc, slamming it in your PS5 or PS5 Pro and playing via remote play is the way to go based on today's testing so far. Let me know in the comments if you want me to do a direct comparison video showing cloud versus remote play performance in this game and some others. Next, streaming from my owned games cloud library. King of Fighters 15, it ran fine, seemed responsive enough, and looked really nice and sharp. Great beat 'em up, really fun. Not a beat 'em up, fighting game, you know what I mean. Well worth checking out if you've not played this one. The signal strength was strong the whole time, but again, the latency sat right between 20 and 28 milliseconds. There's a definite difference in latency between cloud streaming and remote play after this update. Have you guys noticed this gap when you're playing? Let me know down below in the comments. Next cloud test was RoboCop Rogue City, also streamed from my owned games library. It's fantastic, nostalgia heavy first person shooter. Because it's not super fast paced, it's not a fast paced Twitch like shooter, it absolutely is great fun to play on the portal. The latency, again, sat around 25 milliseconds, which seems to be the baseline performance via cloud streaming right now on, my setup. And I love some retro gaming here on the channel, so we couldn't leave that out. So I had to jump onto the 30th anniversary PlayStation Portal because it just fits the retro vibe perfectly. Nostalgia gaming is amazing on the portal because these old games look way sharper on this handheld screen than they do stretched out on a massive TV that really makes them show their age. I booted up Pursuit Force, an absolute banger from back in the PSP era. You're racing, jumping from car to car, blowing stuff up, shooting bad guys. It is just a real good time. It ran fantastic, and the latency, just like the modern games, hovered right between 24 and 28 milliseconds. And then I jumped back even further in time in my time machine, got in that DeLorean Ridge Racer from the PS1. What a throwback. I absolutely love it. The visuals, the music, what a vibe. It's actually like a time capsule for, 90s arcade racers. Anyways, I really hope they add Ridge Racer Revolution to the Classics catalogue next. I think that might be my favourite Ridge Racer of all time. Let me know in the comments your favourite Ridge Racer game. Anyways, the OG PS1 Ridge Racer ran flawlessly. And again, the latency sat right around the 25 to 30 milliseconds range. There really doesn't seem to be any difference in latency between modern PS5 games and retro classics in the cloud, which was interesting to see. I guess maybe there shouldn't be any difference. You're just streaming a game, but I was curious about whether these are, it could be lower quality, therefore it's not as heavy on your stream. I don't know. I'm not a techie guy. I was just curious to find out. And so we did. So what is the final verdict? The 1080p high quality mode is a great update. It really is. And a solid step in the right direction. It makes everything look sharper on the portal. Cloud streaming is incredibly stable and sits comfortably around the 25 milliseconds of latency. But if you want that flawless 1 to 2 millisecond response time, local remote play is absolutely where the portal shines brightest. This update, in my opinion, has allowed remote play from your PS5 to your portal to leapfrog over cloud gaming, which I would have said previously was the better way to play games on your portal. Now remote play takes that crown. And honestly, now that the portal is streaming games better than ever, you need the right kind of games to enjoy this awesome device as much as possible. I've put together a list of 10 of the absolute best games you need to be playing right now. So click the video on screen to check those out, and I'll see you over there.